I have loved Ozzy Osbourne all of my life. The first time I ever got grounded because I wanted to buy a record was Ozzy Osbourne. Randy Rhoads, the man that rocked this polka dot guitar, is the reason I play. Now it's all coming to an end for our last show. I have a lot of questions. One of the things that makes him so great is he's never been very good at anything other than being Ozzy Osbourne. Because when you hear Ozzy from the very first note, you're like, that's Ozzy. And no one really sounds like him. It's all coming to an end with one final show because the thing was, Black Sabbath got back together with Bill Ward, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Ozzy Osbourne. And it was awesome. But then when they decided to tour again, they said Bill Ward wasn't physically up to it. Bill goes, no, I'm up for it. They took Mike Borden out instead of him. Of course, ironically, or maybe not ironically, Bill Ward had a heart attack during that tour when he wasn't on it, so maybe it was good that Bill stayed at home. But now the question is, are we gonna finally get a last Black Sabbath show? Have you been following Ozzy around at all? He's not doing too good. He's got Parkinson's disease. He can't walk at this point, which is terribly sad. Can Ozzy even still perform? I love Ozzy Osbourne so much, but I drove all the way to Chicago, Illinois to go see them when they did the reunion at Lollapalooza because Tony Iommi had said he had lymphoma. And I thought this could be the last Black Sabbath show ever. One of the songs was NIB, and Ozzy literally, for the entire song, sang exactly a half step off. Do you know what it sounds like to sing NIB one half step off? And to have Tony Iommi sitting there stoically just playing and Geezer Butler doing his thing. It was bad. It was so bad that I went and watched the Black Keys instead of Black Sabbath. But Sharon says that Ozzy's voice is unaffected and that he's capable of doing one last show, which I have questions about as well because Ozzy showed up not too long ago at a football game with Zakk Wylde. Guess what? He wasn't even singing. Is he gonna actually sing this last show? But here's the crazy stuff. He has Jakey Lee and Rudy Sarzo coming and playing in his band. Now this is interesting for me because Jakey Lee has not played with Ozzy Osbourne in 30 years. Jake oftentimes gets overlooked because of how amazing Randy Rhoads was. As my friend John Dene, guitarist from Shadows Fall and Anthrax, who's playing the show, he always tells me, Jakey Lee was the best Ozzy guitarist. But he hasn't played with Ozzy for good reason because Ozzy, not so much Ozzy, his manager, his wife, Sharon, loves to screw everybody in his band. In the case of Jakey Lee, he didn't get credit for writing anything on Bark at the Moon. So that amazing riff that is Bark at the Moon, that's written by Jakey Lee. Before Gus G, they asked Jake if he'd come back. Jake said one deal. I'll talk to you about coming back if you put my name on the Bark at the Moon credits. Sharon never called him back. So did Sharon call Jakey Lee? Are we gonna see a reissue of Bark at the Moon that says Jakey Lee? How did she do this? How much money did it take to get Jakey Lee to come play the show? And then let's look at this bill. You got Metallica, you got Slayer, you got Anthrax, you have people from all these different bands, Wolfgang Van Halen, Billy Corgan, a lot of people. Although here's something very interesting. You have Metallica, you have Anthrax, you have Slayer, but no Megadeth? Did Dave Mustaine make you so angry, Ozzy, that you're like, nah, not the big four. It's my show. People are complaining that the tickets are way too freaking expensive. But at the end of the day, all proceeds go to charity. Is this really just a show? Or is it a way for us to pay tribute to a lifetime of amazing music from a true legend? Or to give a true legend the opportunity to say goodbye to us?
Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?